Hello and welcome. And this is the template that will help you to manage any project you're working on. So I'm going to be walking you through on the Biz Budget Performance Manager. You can call it Financial Manager for non-governmental organization or the Budget Performance Manager. So I'll be walking you through on the different features that makes up this template and how it will be of benefit for you working in a non-governmental organization, or you're managing a project with a budget and you need to know part-time how it is performing. So this is going to help you. So I'll be taking you through the different sections and what the functions are. So before I do that, my name is Amaka Ife Bonando. If you've not subscribed to this channel, please do hit the subscribe button and do well to share with as many that you know that will benefit from this, from what I do. That's the least I'm requesting of you. So like this video, hit the subscribe button, share with as many that will benefit from it. I'll appreciate that, and I'm saying thank you in advance for doing it. So what is this business performance manager all about? It's a template, an automated template designed to help you manage project per time. And as you can see, this is particularly the dashboard of this template. And we have the different thumbnail that will take you to the different section. We have the bank reconciliation section, we have the setup section, we have the budget section, and we have the transaction section. As you can see on the dashboard, we have the sector, the performance indicator. This is the project code, project PSEP01, key performance indicator. This is the graphical report, and this is a tabular report. Now, this is a timeline selector. If you just select any of the months, it spans from January to December. So if you select any of the months, it filters the report totally. So let's say I select May, and you can see, we don't have any actual. Our budget is still intact, so there is no expenses, no actual expenses. So meaning that there are no expenses. June, wow, okay, yes, we have. So this timeline helps you to filter for each particular month. And if you don't want to filter for in any month, you can just clear it, and it gives you all the expenses per time. So this is what the timeline selector does. And this where you have the current assets, current liabilities, and cash flow indicators. Now, it's important to know that for non-governmental organization, the basis of accounting, it's an accrual. Though some of us still use cash, but for the purpose of this template, it's more like an accrual, and that's why you have the tax payable for withholding, the paying, the pension, and the staff grants. These are things that we will capture while we are making our data entry, right? So some of you also work with a cash-based system of accounting. Notwithstanding, this also applies. So we'll walk through it in subsequent videos on how you can capture this transaction accurately, right? So let's look at the setup, which is the first section, right? So this is a section where you have to input the name of the organization. For this organization, it's Amaka Global Foundation. Yes, this is the global foundation Amaka has set up in order to help equip young youths and women to be self-reliant, help equip them with skills that will help them to be self-reliant. So that is the essence of this project. So got a project, and this is what the NGO is all about. So for Amaka Global Foundation, this is the financial setup. And the first thing we did was to create our chart of accounts. As you can see, this is the chart of accounts we set up, and this is the account grouping. We have to set up the account grouping. From the account grouping, we use it in setting up our chart of accounts. Then we have the transaction type, which is the receipt and payment, because we'll be receiving money from our donor, and maybe we receive money from any of the donations, from organizations that are donating, individuals that are donating. Then we are making payment for implementation. We're going to be paying stakeholders, vendors, we're going to be paying staff. So these are the transaction type. So for the project code, this template is just going to be managing one project per time. Specifically for this project, for this particular template, is managing one project per time. Right. So the bank code is AZ Bank. Just put the AZ Bank, or you put a name that is very descriptive to the grant you're managing. So this is a financial lines, and this financial lines, we got it from the budget, right? Got it from the budget. So, but when you'll be looking at the budget, there are things you won't be seeing in the budget. You see, these four lines are just generated in order to manage the finance of this project or the organization itself, not necessarily the project, but the organization, because you'll be getting from, let's say you're managing multiple projects, so you want to differentiate if this fund you're getting is for a particular. So we just created an account code for, right, a financial line for that. Then we created a financial line for all the withholding that is for this particular project. We created a payee financial line for all the payee that is particularly for this project. And we also created a financial line for all the pension so that we can be able to track when we have captured it and when we have made remittance. That is the essence of this. So these thoughts were all in place while designing this template, right? So for this financial line is extracted from the budget. So when we get to the budget section, which is where we'll be going to right away, you will see where we just extracted it and created our financial line. So you know when you win a budget, when your budget is approved, all you need to see is basically the implementation, the area of implementation, running costs, then support costs. And that is what you can see here. You can see the personnel costs, you can see the administrative costs, which is also called the running costs, then you can see the program costs. So you can see the financial line that makes up the budget. So notice this financial line is what we extracted. We went to our setup and created our financial lines with it because we'll be using this as the list. So you notice that these are not part of our budget, this particular one. I've earlier stated why we created it. Subsequently, as I do videos on different sections of this with case study on how you can apply it, you will understand better, right? So we go back to the budget, and this is the approved budget. Definitely, your budget has to be the basis of working with this template because it's a budget performance manager. So there is a budget. So what is the budget you're working with? So this is the budget. This is the approved budget for the project Skills Empowerment Program for Amaka Global Foundation, which we tag code PSEP, that's Project Skill Empowerment Program 01. Right. And these are the details of the project. The organization is Amaka Global Foundation. The program is Skills Empowerment Program. The donor is ActAid. And the project code is PSEP01. The currency is Naira. The amount is 500,000 million. And the start date of implementation is 01. So this project is running from 1st of June 2024 to 31st of May 2025. Right. As I stated earlier, for each of the section, you will see the navigation, thumbnail, where you can easily navigate to other section on this template. So here we have the budget information. This is the approved budget. And here you can just impute. Here you can impute if anything that doesn't, if this financial line is not in line with yours, you can just, change it to suit yours. So this area that you have the green section, you can just, let it suit what you have in your own, the project you are managing. So for this section is already automated. Immediately you put in your start date and your end date. Here is already automated. That is it. So meaning that the start date and the end date are to be imputed. And when you impute it, this particular actual expense section of your budget automatically fills itself, right? So that is it. And we have the third section, which is the budget analysis. Now you have your total expenses, percentage spent, and variance. So these areas are all filled with formulas. From this column right here to this, we have formulas in there. All you need to do is just on this place where you have your budget information, that is where you need to just edit, input the information relevant to your budget, and that is it. You don't need to touch anything here. All this here has formulas, and as you input your transaction details in the transaction section, it updates automatically, giving you details of the performance of your grant. How is your grant doing per time? So as you are imputing transaction, you are getting the report automatically. Right. I believe this sounds very good because it will help you make informed decision. And also, as you're imputing this transaction, have it in mind that your dashboard is also updating. All right, your dashboard is also updating. So it's something you should also have in mind. So we go back to our budget section. So this is what it is, right? So let's go to our transaction section. This is our transaction section, and this is a place where I want us to be very detailed in capturing. This is more like where you do your data entry, daily data entry, and you have to be very, very careful, ensuring that you capture your data accurately so that all the reports can be accurate and reliable. Whatever mistake you make here or any error you tend to make while imputing your data is definitely going to impact on the report, right? So that's why it's important when you are making your transaction entries, you should pay keen attention to it. So have in mind that the columns with the green entry are where you are allowed to make entries, but the column with the orange entries have formulas in them and they update automatically, right? So you don't need to alter or enter anything in columns with the orange for this transaction section. So for this column, you don't need to impute anything like this. You do. So it relies on other column and automatically updates. And this is the bank statement column. This column helps you with your reconciliation. All right. So that is it for the transaction section. Please ensure you input your data with accuracy. So you have your transaction date, you have your project code, which we know just one project we are working with, which is the PSEP project 01. Then we have the budget line. Here you have a drop down which you select from, and this drop down we generated it from the setup that we have here. Remember. So we go back to our transaction section. Then you have the budget category, which will automatically fill itself based on the budget line selected. Then you have your reference, you input your reference, you have your recipient details, right? If you're a third party, the vendor name, the staff name, right? Then the transaction details, right? Then you have your transaction type, which you select. Is it, are you paying? Is it receipt? So we'll look at this in detail and you'll see how it works. Then the amount, then select your bank, and then you select the bank code, right? Then this automatically fill itself. The column with the orange heading automatically fill itself. Then this, you input the date this transaction appears in your bank statement while carrying out when you're about to do your bank reconciliation. So that is what this column helps you do, right? So let's go to the last section, which is the bank reconciliation. Good. And this is where you perform your monthly bank reconciliation, or if you do it bi-weekly, you can also carry it out. All you need to do, you just have limited entry here. You don't need to alter anything. Everything here will autofill itself. You just need to input into the orange cells. So you'll select your bank. If you have more than one bank, here we just have one bank we're dealing with. Then you put it in the bank. Then for this cell, it says impute the last day of the month you want to reconcile. The last day of the month you want to reconcile, you impute it here, right? Then you come in here, you impute the closing balance of the bank statement. So if we are reconciling for May, what is the last day of May? 30th. And here, pick up your bank statement you've gotten from the bank and impute the closing balance of the bank statement as at the last day of that you selected here. So these are the only input you should. Then your then you will definitely know what you need to do if your account, if your bank reconciliation is not reconciling. And this is what we'll do in a different video. I'll show you how to reconcile your books using this section of the template. So this is more like a walkthrough on the different section that makes up the budget performance manager, or you can also call it the financial manager for non-governmental organization, right? So if you want to get this template, I'll be dropping a link on how you can get this template, right? Subsequently, I'll be doing videos, detailed video with practical case study on how you can use this template and maximize its features, right? Thank you, and I'll stop here for this training. I'll see you in the next detailed section of how you can maximize the features of this template. Thank you, and do not forget to hit the subscribe button, like this video, and share to as many that you know that will benefit from it. I'll see you in the next training, and bye for now.